What state are we in?
Pennsylvania.
I think where the light would be best. Let's see if we can move over here, what it looks like. Got a bug crawling on me. That's close, isn't it? That's pretty good, right? Okay. Now it's all on you. Okay. Hi, it's Natalie, flyGIRL Kelley, and I am here with Stephanie Harris, and I met her in Pennsylvania. I was at the AOPA fly-in in Maryland, and all these states kind of like run together over here for me. And the Northeast is like, Delaware, Maryland, whatever. They're all the same, aren't they? Anyway, I met Steph through, she applied for my flyGIRL scholarship, and she didn't win, but
Still here.
she's still going
Life
strong.
exists after the loss.
After rejection. I don't know. I'm really connected with Steph, and I think she's got a great story. She's a very inspirational person, and I really wanted to make a video with her because she's got some really cool things going on.
For me, like in high school, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad was like, hey, if you're interested, you know, your grandfather's a pilot, your great-grandfather's a pilot, like, try out being a pilot. And I pulled the mixture on downwind.
Oh, yeah, I do remember hearing this
Yeah,
story,
the engine
actually.
sputtered, and my flight instructor was like a really low-hour pilot, and he didn't know what to do with me, and I was like 16 and, you know, young, and he didn't ever talk to me about it. And so I was like, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. And then when I was 27, I came back to aviation. I just kept seeing airplanes, and I had finally moved back to my hometown after 10 years of being away, and I was like, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do.
So what were you doing though for that 10 years? What were you studying? Because you have a college degree.
Yeah.
What was your degree in?
Yeah, so I went to the University of Florida and studied physiology and kinesiology, and I became a yoga teacher. And I studied abroad in India, Argentina, and South Africa, studying public health. And so I took an internship at the United Nations doing global health and environmental relations, and was like, it's too bureaucratic for me. So I started my own company in New York City, got into coffee, I managed a bunch of coffee shops, started coffee shops, decided I wanted to go to med school, was like,
Oh my gosh.
did med school for 2 years. I was teaching biology at Hunter College in Manhattan, and that was wonderful, but I was like, is medical school, is being a doctor really for me? It's a very changing industry right now. So I just really had to check in with myself, is this what I want to do? And the answer was no. And so I went to India for 3 months, and then I worked on a farm in India, and then I moved back to Westchester, Pennsylvania, and kept seeing airplanes and found aviation. And within a week, I was like, this is what I want to do. This is it. I just felt so inspired and excited and challenged by aviation. And there were no women around me. And that like just boggled my mind. I couldn't understand why that was. And it's been kind of this intention since then where like any girl walks in my flight school and they're like, Steph, you know, you need to talk to this girl. And I try and, you know, make an effort to connect, you know, this mission for any pilot really, you know, woman or man, but aviation is such a profound passion. And you don't know if it's going to strike you until you experience it, until you go up and you fly. So like, if you're even questioning it, you know, it's like, just go out and try, because that's what I did. I followed the signs and I went out and tried, and I found it.
Yeah, you were hooked.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it.
Wow.
I'm good. Like, I was just telling you, like, I could die. And I'm like, I'm good.
You're happy. Okay, so recently, you've told me about this thing that you're doing, like you're pursuing the Marines, and you are 28.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are thinking about joining the Marines.
Pursuing.
You are on that path.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is a very unusual thing.
Yes.
Female, 28-year-old, to go this route. So what makes you interested in that? How did this come to be?
My instructor was a Marine Corps retired C-130 pilot, and I've had military, you know, persona in my life, you know, for a long time, but I've always just respected that. I've respected that discipline that I see in people who have served in the military. And there's something about service, whether it's to your country or to even like as a yogi, like I'm a deep yoga practitioner and like I'm a yoga teacher, and there's a service there as well as a teacher. But anything that there has to do with service, with true surrender of yourself and commitment is powerful. And I've always felt that about like the Marine Corps, the Army. And so when I met my instructor, I was just like, I want to be like you. Mm-hmm. Like there's something to serving your country as a pilot that's like badassery. I don't know. Like I could see myself in uniform, and I could see myself as a pilot, and I was in uniform, and I was just like, this is something that I want to do. And I want to, like, not even that I want to do right now, but that like when I'm 80, I want to be like, I did that.
Mm-hmm. So when I think of people joining the military, I think of like people coming either out of high school or right out of college, young. Now you're not old.
No. But this is the end of it for the military.
But this is like, you do it, it's now or never.
Yeah. I think my biggest goal in my life, always, even before I found aviation, was to be a role model and to be a leader and provide guidance for others. Not to be like me, but to be themselves. Like aviation is challenging. You never get it. Like the weather is never perfect. It's always different. And you have to interpret and feel and use your knowledge and use your training and use your intuition to decipher that environment. And I think the military is like similar to that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what, like, I want to be a leader. And so to be a leader, what do you need? You need to be challenged, and you need to be around people who are also striving for similar things, to be better versions of themselves, mm-hmm. to not be mediocre, right? And so I think I've seen that in aviation, and then the next level is like, for me, it was the military. Like, okay, be an aviator and be in the military. Mm-hmm. See where that takes you and see how you can lead from there.
So what would you say to another female that you met that was maybe not feeling super confident, and they're like, I would like to fly, but I just don't know if I'm smart enough. I don't know if I can do that. What would you say?
Can I curse?
Not that much younger than you. No, you can't curse. This has to be family friendly. You can say beep.
Okay. I mean, that's crap. That's not real. Like, if you are interested in aviation, go out and check it out, because...
What if everybody says, what are you doing? What if your boyfriend's like, why are you doing this? And your mom's like, what, why? What do you say? Because that happens.
It happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Use that as motivation. If someone is meeting you and saying, like, you're not smart enough for this, you're not enough of a badass to be in the military. Like, that's what I heard. Mm-hmm. And it was like... There's something inside me that was like, you're wrong, mm-hmm. and I'm gonna show you. Mm-hmm. And I think the greatest inspirations in our current day, and the greatest leaders, the greatest aviators in our day, faced incredible adversity. They face people telling them, you can't, you're not good enough. Aviation will never be a thing. I mean, even think back to like the 20s and like the first aviatrix, like the first women, like Amelia, and like all those women who thought aviation was going to be the future air travel. And they were faced with people like, no, aviation is never going to be the way they travel.
Mm-hmm. And they're wrong.
How does that feel? You know, but there's no one to be like, hey, you were wrong. And so really you have to take risks in your life, and that can be challenging.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
To take those risks and take a chance on yourself and take a chance on your heart. And that's what I would say, really. I mean, beyond anything else, is like, take a chance on you. Mm-hmm. A bug just flew in my ear and whispered me a message.
Oh, okay, cool.
The way you show up in life is powerful and profound. And aviation has taught me that. It's taught me to go beyond myself, to trust myself. Like, I flew that like 150. I never flew, before I never flew a Cessna 150 before. I was ferrying it across the country, like low on fuel that one day, and it was turning itself. It was so light, and I was shaking. Like, my hands were going like this. And I thought to myself, like, I know my training. That's what I trusted on. Like, you lean in on who you are. And I think no matter whether you're flying or you're a mom, right, and you're feeling challenges with your family and your children, or whatever it is in life that you're going through, you lean in on what you've been through and who you are. I mean, I want all women to fly. Mm-hmm. Is that wrong? Why? It's the truth. Like, it's It's the liberating factor that you've been searching for. It's the thing in your life that you're like, I want to feel loved. I want to feel like I'm in control. I want to feel like I'm important. And you get in an airplane, like, there it is. Like, you're the pilot in control. You're the pilot in command. Listen to your heart and try to understand that those voices that say you can't aren't you. They're your critic, and they're not worth the time of day. Don't believe them. And if they get really, really loud, try and ground yourself and do something that you really like. And I guess that's what aviation is for me, has been like, I can always turn to that. There's always people who are like, you're a great pilot. And that makes me feel like, yeah, I've accomplished something.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, well, thank you, Stephanie. I love you.
I love
you
you
might
too.
be gone soon. Oh my gosh. Going to the Marines? No. I don't know how many push-ups you can do.
I can kill it. I'm killing it right now. I feel good. Like in a row?
Yeah. I do 20 a day.
Like,
what do you do? Oh my God, don't tell me like 100.
no, I feel like 50.
What is your arm muscle? Well, yeah. You're doing like down dogs and stuff like that all the time. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, well, let's wish Stephanie the best, and I can't wait to see what happens with your journey. And you're going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad that I met you and you came into my life.
Appreciate everything you're doing too.
Thank you, thank you. All right, this is Natalie, flyGIRL Kelley. Let's wish Stephanie the best. I'm sure she's going to be awesome.